Well, I want to do a follow-up to yesterday's video now that more information has come out about the SVB failure and the fallout as a result. Now, one individual was kind enough to send a message to me calling me a fucking idiot if I think that this is going to be limited to just one bank. Of course, he cited no reasons or explanations how it would spread. Theoretically, it could. But he felt that calling me a fucking idiot was more important than anything else. Now, aside from the fact that calling someone a fucking idiot doesn't really demonstrate that you know what you're talking about very well, because I had said that a lot of internet people or message board type commentators believe this is going to be worse, and it's not, and he took exception to that and decided to insult me. Okay. Now, since this did happen, there was an emergency meeting of Congress last night. I believe it was last night at about 2 a.m., and they talked about, this was the Treasury wanting to talk to members of Congress. And they gave them like 15 minutes notice before the meeting even started. So what they wanted to do was assure Congress that they were on the situation. This SVB bank failed. The FDI stepped in and saved people's deposits. Not even just the usual up to $250,000 that's insured, but all of the people who had more than that, because this was a bank that was particularly of interest to small businesses and startups. So, what they were saying was they were explaining the further difficulty with this situation. Now, what happened was people thought that this was going to spread to other banks. So people ran out, took their money out of smaller banks, and put them into larger banks because they were afraid of some kind of domino effect. You see, the thing is, another bank did kind of go insolvent because people pulled their money out all at once. It wasn't actually insolvent. There wasn't actually a problem. People perceived that there was going to be a problem and thus created one as a result. You get the problems that you create. And that's like the point, and that's what the FDI, that's what the Treasury is doing right now, is getting this nonsense under control so that there isn't a domino effect. There isn't actually anything wrong with any of these banks other than the ordinary nonsense of capitalism. People are making runs on banks because they think there's going to be a problem, and that run ends up causing the problem. This is not unlike the stock market itself, or even prices themselves. If they believe something is going to be a problem, it is. If they believe something is valuable, it becomes valuable. That's one of the things that Marx was referring to when he talked about the anarchy of the market. That the whole thing is completely bloody irrational. And it is. It is irrational. It's complete nonsense. The value of something is whatever you believe it to be. If that isn't the epitome of the idealism that is capitalist philosophy, then nothing else is. So everything that I said in the main video is still true. There is no systemic problem. It was a problem of this bank. And it only became a larger problem because people believed it was going to be a bigger problem and then thus created it. So far from being a fucking idiot for thinking this is going to be limited to one bank, it actually really is limited to one bank. And the problems with the other banks are because people are making a run on them and creating it themselves. So to that person, I know you feel like you scored a major victory by insulting me on the internet, but you are failing to understand what it is that you're talking about. You're foreseeing something that may happen in the future, or may even inevitably happen in the future. But simply jumping on every single little thing, saying that this is going to be it, this is going to be what destroys the entire system, is Chicken Little philosophy. So to people like this, keep a calm head, and to those who actually like capitalism for some reason, if you just calm down and don't act like this is the apocalypse, it actually won't be. I did want to add one more thing. This is a good opportunity to open up political discussion, mainstream political discussion about regulation and maybe society deciding how much risk they want to let banks take, considering that regular people are going to have to pay for the consequences of this. And that's another discussion for people to make sometime in the future, which is beyond the scope of this video. But that's just another important point I wanted to make before I ended this.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.